Do you see what your new rappers, how they got y'all dressing? What happened to white tees and no, you girl.
Lil Baby just snapped on Jayda after she finally dropped those sneaky hints confirming the very rumor he's been dodging for years. The one about his alleged secret affair that supposedly blew up their relationship. What everyone once brushed off as just whispers in the streets is now spiraling into full-blown gay-for-pay accusations, shaking up the industry. And the timing couldn't be worse. The second Jayda cracked that door open, Slim Thug came barging through with so-called receipts, and Lil Baby's been scrambling ever since. In case you missed it, Slim Thug recently slipped up during a convo and let loose the one thing Lil Baby allegedly kept hidden for years. And the way he did it had people clutching their phones like, did he really just say that? Slim didn't even play around with the whispers about Baby being on the DL. He threw a straight-up bomb. He flat out called Lil Baby a sugar baby and tied his name to none other than music mogul Michael Rubin. The moment Slim said it, you could see him smirk like he'd been waiting to drop that T, and fans swear you can literally pinpoint the exact second he knew he shook the room. Now, Lil Baby ain't the type to sit back quiet. Oh no. He's been raging online, firing off at folks who don't know how to stay in their lane, and warning that if he ever runs into Slim Thug face to face, it won't just end with words. The streets are buzzing, and everyone's watching to see just how far this feud will go. Now everybody's asking the same wild question. Has Lil Baby been faking his whole tough guy street image this entire time? Because if what Slim Thug is claiming has even a drop of truth, then suddenly Michael Rubin might be the hidden key to Baby's success. And those sugar daddy whispers that have been floating for years don't sound so crazy anymore. See,
with Lil Baby's,
Oh shit! Oh shit!
he gave me $40,000. So Lil Baby has slid in my DMs. He asked me if I was in Miami, and I told him, yeah. He texted me, told me to pull up, and the first time we linked up was weird. He kept touching me. Like, I get it. You know, you got a lot of people that's just a setup situation.
Lil Baby's always been known as the type to ignore online chatter. He usually shrugs off gossip like it's nothing. But Slim's video, that one hit different. The second it dropped, you could feel the shift. It was like Lil Baby's deepest fears just got dragged straight into daylight. And judging by how quick he snapped back, people said it loud. If hit dogs holler, then Baby got some explaining to do. Instead of staying cool, Lil Baby rushed to his IG stories, dropping a cryptic post that read, "Those love talking until it gets real." Then what? Minutes later, poof, it was deleted. But come on, the blogs move faster than Wi-Fi. Screenshots were everywhere, blasted across gossip pages, sparking whispers all over the internet. He didn't drop names, but he didn't have to. The timing lined up too perfectly. Everyone knew that smoke was aimed straight at Slim Thug, and once folks made that connection, the detective work started. Fans tore through Slim's old videos, Baby's clips, the comments, the likes, looking for shade, hints, anything, and that's when it clicked. Slim had been taking shots for a while now, but Baby finally showed signs he'd had enough. But here's the kicker. Why did Slim call out Lil Baby in the first place? It all traces back to a recent performance that went viral.
But it was just weird because he kept touching me and he was just rubbing me. Like it got to the point where I felt like, okay, is he like trying to figure out if I'm a woman or a man? And then after that, it was fascinating, honestly.
Baby stepped on stage in a tiny tank top, short shorts, and a bright pink belt that had his thighs out front and center. The internet instantly labeled them Hoochie Daddy Shorts, and the memes exploded. For Slim Thug, that look sealed the deal. He saw it as confirmation of everything he'd been hinting at. Lil Baby playing sugar baby for powerful men like Rubin. The clip had people clowning non-stop. Some were laughing, some were speculating, and some flat out claimed Baby was gay, even pointing to the way he walked across stage like, nah, something's different here. And Slim didn't waste a second. He jumped online and unloaded his frustrations for the world to see, blasting Baby's look as proof of what he says is wrong with hip-hop today. And his face told the whole story. the tight jaw, the locked brows, the disgust practically oozing through the screen. Slim didn't just criticize the outfit, he went for the throat, straight up calling Baby a girl for the way he dressed. You could feel the venom in every word, like he'd been holding that in for way too long and finally let it all spill out. But Slim didn't stop at Lil Baby. Oh no, he dragged Young Jock into the fire too. He clowned him for that now infamous outfit, a cropped sweater that showed off his mid-drift while he was performing live on stage. Social media had already been buzzing like, what is Jock wearing? But Slim turned the moment into fuel, using it as more so-called proof that rappers were stepping into a whole different lane. Yeah, crop tops ain't for everybody, but Slim made it crystal clear. This wasn't about fashion. To him, it was about evidence. He treated it like receipts, saying Lil Baby's wardrobe choices weren't just about style, but about hiding a much bigger truth. By this point, fans were digging deep on their own, and what they pulled up next made Slim's words hit harder than anyone expected. People started resurfacing that one controversial photo.
What do you think of the James Harden memes?
Like what? Like I don't play certain type games.
Yeah.
So even when I see certain it's just like, you know what I'm saying? I just say it.
See the comedy.
Push up on me with it. You know what I'm saying? See how that go.
The one where Lil Baby and Michael Rubin looked way too close for comfort. The body language, the hand placement, the smiles, the whole vibe suddenly looked different once Slim threw Baby under the bus. What once seemed like just another group shot now had people whispering that maybe Baby and Rubin weren't hiding much at all. And right on cue, 50 Cent jumped in to stir the pot. He reposted the picture with a caption that basically screamed, "What the F is going on here?" That single move set the internet on fire. Within hours, timelines were drowning in theories, side-by-side comparisons, and hidden receipts that fans swore had been sitting in the vault for years. Suddenly, Rubin and Baby's so-called bond wasn't just about studio sessions or money moves. People were claiming it ran way deeper, spilling into something way more personal. Just like that single picture became Exhibit A. From then on, every selfie, every hug, every party flick with Rubin was treated as possible evidence. Fans were convinced they had cracked the code, and Slim's accusations didn't look like wild-reaching anymore. They looked like the spark that lit the fire. But before we break down these so-called receipts one by one, let's pause and talk about the man at the center of it all, Michael Rubin, because he's not just some behind-the-scenes music exec. Nah, Rubin is a heavyweight, a power player with the kind of influence that can make or break entire careers. Sure, most people know him as a billionaire businessman tied to the industry, but his name has also surfaced in some of the shadiest circles imaginable, especially those involving powerful men moving in silence. And let's not forget,
Mike Rubin thing.
I was just gonna say.
Like,
I was just about to say.
Bruh, I don't play with period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm no funny weird. You feel me? I'm dapping Kuzman up. And Mike happy to see me. He run up on me.
Right.
I got 10 other pictures. We down there, we start down there, bam, I'm telling his ass, Mike, I'll slam your neck. I'll break your neck in his. But we play like that. They white, so they don't really understand how I understand. Like, even when the picture came out before it went viral, I told them, like, Mike, I can't have pictures like that.
Right.
Even though me and you playing, bro, it's 100 people at the party. We in the middle of 100 people. There's nothing weird we could be doing in a party.
Right.
Rubin has been linked to those infamous all-white parties, the same kind Diddy's name is always tied to. And if you know anything about those events, then you already know the type of power and influence we're talking about here. See, Michael Rubin ain't just some rich guy hanging in the background. He's the gatekeeper of entire circles most rappers dream of getting into. His name rings out in sports, fashion, music, and especially in those flashy social events that insiders whisper about. We're talking about those infamous all-white parties, the ones where billionaires, athletes, rappers, and Hollywood elites all mix under one roof, and the kind where cameras only capture the surface, but the real stories never leave the mansion walls. Now here's where things get wild. Lil Baby has been spotted at Rubin's side at every single one of those legendary gatherings. Fans didn't think much of it before, but with Slim Thug's bombshell floating around, people are suddenly rewatching those clips and photos with brand new eyes. The whispers got louder. Was Baby just a guest? Or was there something more personal pulling him into Rubin's orbit? And let's be real, Rubin's reputation hasn't always been squeaky clean. His name's been tied to deals, connections, and relationships that insiders claim aren't just about business. Some even allege that his real power comes from knowing everyone's secrets, the kind of secrets that could make or break careers overnight. And now, fans are speculating that maybe Lil Baby's meteoric rise wasn't just raw talent, but also the perks of being close to the right billionaire at the right time. It doesn't help that receipts keep popping up online. Screenshots of DMs, old interviews, and photos are now being passed around like trading cards, with fans pointing out every suspicious smile, every late-night hangout, every trip Ruben and Baby seemed to share. And once 50 Cent reposted that picture, the floodgates blew open. People started saying the quiet part out loud. Is Ruben the reason Baby's really untouchable in this game? And here's where it gets even crazier. Some claim Ruben's inner circle is where the real deals get cut, and being invited in isn't just about music or money. It's about loyalty, secrets, and favors, which has fans asking the million-dollar question. If Slim's accusations about Lil Baby are true, did Baby trade more than just music to secure his spot at the top? Once Slim cracked that door open, the internet turned into a full-blown investigation squad. And Baby, the receipts they started pulling out were wild. Fans dug up old clips, screenshots, and even blurry paparazzi shots that suddenly looked like evidence in the case against Lil Baby. One of the first things people resurfaced? That controversial party footage where Baby and Ruben were practically locked in together the entire night. People swore the body language screamed more than just business partners. The handshakes lingered too long, the laughs were a little too close, the smiles a little too personal. On its own, it might have been nothing. But now, fans are convinced it was a red flag hiding in plain sight. Then came the old screenshots floating around, alleged texts and DMs claiming Baby had special access to Ruben's private jets, private villas, and even exclusive invites to high-level dinners where only power players usually get in. Some fans pointed out how Baby always seemed to be in the right place at the right time, rubbing shoulders with billionaires, CEOs, and moguls, while other rappers were still grinding to even get a meeting. And just when people thought the digging couldn't get deeper, someone resurfaced an old interview where Ruben himself hinted at how much he looked out for Baby early in his career. At the time, it sounded like friendly support, but with the new context, fans are twisting it into something way spicier. Suddenly, every nice word Ruben ever said about Baby is being dissected like it's a clue. The most damaging piece, though, came from fans who pieced together a timeline, pointing out that Baby's biggest career jumps, like major label pushes and endorsement deals, seemed to line up perfectly with moments he was publicly spotted around Ruben. To the internet, it looked less like coincidence and more like proof that Slim Thug's claims had legs. And of course, 50 Cent fanning the flames only made it worse. Once Fifth reposted that picture, fans started dropping all these receipts in his comments, tagging blogs, and throwing Baby's name in every rumor thread they could find. It turned into an avalanche. What started as Slim's shady shot turned into a full-scale internet trial where fans were playing judge, jury, and executioner. Now, the question hanging over everything is, are these receipts just smoke with no fire? Or are they the kind of clues that finally explain how Lil Baby rose so fast and stayed so untouchable? Either way, the streets are talking, and they are not letting this story go quiet. By now, Lil Baby was boiling over, and you could see it all over his socials. Instead of brushing the chatter off like he usually does, he went into full attack mode, firing shots left and right at anyone daring to speak on his name. He called out fake friends, warned about clout chasers, and even dropped veiled threats about what would happen if certain people kept pushing his buttons. But the problem? Every time he lashed out, it only made fans feel like Slim Thug had struck a nerve. Folks online were clowning, saying, if it wasn't true, he wouldn't be this mad. His IG stories became a minefield of cryptic posts. One minute he's saying he's too rich to care, the next minute he's warning people to watch their mouths. The back and forth energy just kept fueling the fire. And while Baby was busy trying to defend himself, fans started flipping the script, pointing out how much of his street tough image was now being tested. For years, Lil Baby branded himself as the rapper who moved smarter than the rest, who couldn't be shaken by gossip. But now, his empire suddenly looked vulnerable, and the internet smelled blood in the water. Even worse, his silence on certain parts of the accusations only added fuel. He never directly addressed the Michael Rubin chatter, never denied or clarified the Sugar Baby claims, and that gap left fans free to fill in the blanks themselves. Screenshots of old photos, party footage, and Slim's rants just kept going viral, stacking against him day by day. Industry insiders started whispering too, some saying Baby was furious behind the scenes, pressuring blogs to take down certain posts, and even trying to silence folks he thought were feeding Slim more ammo. But as history shows, once the internet gets a hold of a scandal, it's nearly impossible to shut it down. At this point, Lil Baby isn't just fighting Slim Thug, he's fighting the narrative that his entire rise might not be what it seemed. And in hip-hop, once fans start questioning your authenticity, that's a war you can't afford to lose. Lately, the whispers have narrowed down to one thing: Lil Baby's undeniable closeness with Michael Rubin. Whether it's flashy photos, those infamous all-white mansion parties, private getaways, or sitting courtside at NBA games, Rubin is always there. Sometimes he's in the background like a shadow. Other times, he's right up next to Baby. But either way, his presence feels inescapable, like he's woven into every step Baby takes. And for fans, this bond goes way deeper than luxury perks or billionaire flexing. People are convinced Rubin isn't just hanging out. They claim he's been quietly shaping Lil Baby's image from behind the scenes. The shifts in how Baby's been carrying himself these past few months, fans swear it's not random. It's giving Rubin's influence all the way. That's exactly why Slim Thug's bombshell had the internet shook. Because if Slim is right, then all these little clues are more than coincidences. They're proof of who's really pulling the strings in Baby's career. And let's not forget that viral performance clip. Yeah, the one with the short shorts. Fans weren't just laughing at the outfit. They zoomed in on something even bigger, that massive new tattoo running down both of Baby's thighs, one inked with 90s Baby and another reading CBFW. Now here's the kicker. Lil Baby built his entire brand on not having tattoos. He said it himself in interviews, that he avoided ink because he didn't want to look ghetto and risk messing up his future business ventures outside of rap. That clean skin image was part of his persona. So why on earth would he suddenly flip and tattoo both thighs up, plus run another one down his leg? The contradiction was too loud to ignore. Fans immediately started screenshotting every angle, captioning it with wild theories. Some called the tattoos branding marks, claiming they were literal stamps tying him to Rubin, painting the picture of Baby as his so-called boy toy. The internet spiral was instant. Every blog, every gossip page, every fan thread lit up with speculation that Baby's ink wasn't just self-expression, it was symbolic ownership. By the time those clips spread across socials, Lil Baby realized silence wasn't gonna cut it anymore. The more he ignored it, the louder the whispers grew, and the more the theories piled up. Suddenly, his carefully built, authentic street rapper image was being ripped apart frame by frame, and the only way forward was to finally face the storm head on. Lil Baby tried to shut the rumors down, but instead of killing the noise, his words poured straight gasoline on the fire. Suddenly, people weren't just whispering about tattoos anymore. They were dragging his entire love life into the spotlight, and what they uncovered made the ink look like child's play. At first, Baby brushed off the Rubin talk altogether. He even downplayed that viral photo of him and Rubin looking extra close, claiming it was nothing but a play wrestling moment caught on camera. He doubled down on Lil Yachty's podcast too, saying he had security footage that would prove his side of the story. But here's the problem. He never released it. And online, that's the same as waving a white flag. In the court of public opinion, saying you have receipts but never showing them is like admitting guilt. And then came the dagger. His own baby mama, Jayda stepped in and dropped a bombshell. She revealed the real reason she finally walked away from Baby, saying she had tried to hold the relationship together but couldn't anymore after he showed her his true colors. She didn't spill heavy details, but the way she said it, it gave the internet more than enough to connect the dots. Her words sparked a fresh wave of speculation, and fans were convinced the true colors she hinted at weren't about him chasing other women. They were about his alleged ties to Rubin. But wait, it got worse. An Instagram model, Teresa LeVie, hopped on a podcast and casually described a one-night hookup she once had with Lil Baby. According to her, the way he moved that night left her convinced he wasn't exactly straight, hinting he might lean more to the bi side. She didn't even have to spell it out. The subtle details were enough to send social media spiraling into another round of gossip. And then came the part that really sent the whispers into overdrive. Lil Baby's gambling confession. He admitted to blowing a staggering $9 million in just 2 days during a gambling binge. Fans were already shocked, but what set them off was what came next. He revealed that when things got out of control, it was none other than Michael Rubin who stepped in to fix the situation. Baby said Rubin personally called the casinos and had him banned from placing more bets. On the surface, it sounded like a caring friend saving him from self-destruction, but with all the other receipts floating around, it started looking less like concern and more like a boss protecting his investment. Fans instantly compared it to the notorious Clive Davis dynamic. If you know, you know. That parallel alone had people convinced Baby might be walking down the exact same dangerous path, where personal freedom comes second to maintaining the image someone else built for you. Meanwhile, Slim Thug refuses to let up. He's still online, beard and all, reposting old clips, throwing subs, and practically daring Baby to call him out by name. But Baby, that's where the confusion is. After all the threats, all the cryptic posts, he's suddenly gone quiet. And in this industry, silence doesn't mean peace. It usually means one of two things. Either you're cooking up a major chess move, or you've officially run out of plays. Fans are left asking the question nobody can ignore. Is Lil Baby protecting his brand, or is he protecting Michael Rubin? Because if Slim Thug drops even one more bombshell, this whole circus could shift from whispers to a full-blown career-ending scandal. And that's where we leave it today. Make sure you hit that like button, smash subscribe, drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to share this video with your crew, because this story is far from over and you don't want to miss what comes next. See you on the next one.